U.S. Ambassador to Guyana John Jones today paid a courtesy call where he had discussions with Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce Mani Ramprasad. The discussions were mostly centered on the closer bilateral arrangements and cooperation between the U.S. and Guyana investments in small businesses and even a possibility of a private sector team led by Minister Mani Ramprasad to coordinate a visit to the U.S. Transport Minister Robeson Ben has called on the shipping industry to restructure its operations in meeting national development goals. The minister, who was at the time addressing the Shipping Association Business Luncheon, said this is especially necessary given the global financial crisis. Here's more.
The first ever business luncheon of the Shipping Association was held under the theme Enhancement of the Shipping Industry in Guyana. In his feature address, Minister of Transport Robeson Ben says shippers has a key role in the vision of the national economy and called them into account.
There's a vision of what our national economy should be, and you have to put the service in place, you have to put the facilities and the assets in place to be able to move our products into the regional and into the international environment. You also have to be able to bring in those goods and services which will make it possible for us to make the type of production that would realize the vision of developing Guyana.
Minister Ben alluded to the national competitiveness strategy and called on the industry to pay attention to the many issues relevant to its development. He noted Guyana's commitment to maritime conventions and adherence to all safety rules relevant to the industry. Mr. Ben also warned shippers to stay vigilant in the face of the global financial crisis in order to remain viable and competitive internationally.
Shipping volumes, income, revenue expenditure throughout our economy, even though we might think we are in a provincial kind of situation or in parochial circumstances, we will certainly find ourselves, if we haven't found ourselves already, in situations where we have to adjust. And therefore, the issue of enhancing of the shipping industry in Guyana is an topic at this time, I think, in the current international and national environment.
Shipping Association Chairman Andrew Aswood says officials in the local industry benefited from several training programs through collaboration with the Caribbean Maritime Institute and the Organization of American States. He also spoke of some additional work being done to improve services in the shipping sector.
And I'm happy to report that the association is currently working closely with the National Competitiveness Strategy Unit to address and resolve some of the problems identified, including the dredging of the Demerara Bar to facilitate a deeper draft, for marine traffic entering and leaving Guyana.
The forum saw the attendance of a wide cross-section of officials from the shipping sector. Conservation International is to embark on an education awareness and communications program on climate change throughout the country. NCN's Shah Dalal sat down with CI's communications advisor Ajay Bash for an exclusive interview. Details in this report.
For the first time in Guyana, major stakeholders in conservation and climate protection will be partnering to raise awareness among citizens. They include Conservation International, the National Climate Change Committee, World Wildlife Fund, and IWOCRAMA. According to communications advisor Ajay Baksh, this initiative seeks to create knowledge about climate change and actions which can be taken to combat its effects.
This is all born out of a survey that we have conducted, and we are still in the process of finalizing the results. But what the initial results have shown us is that a lot of Guyanese are not aware of many of the issues that exist and that relate directly to climate change. They are not aware of the actions they take or they should take to reduce their impact.
He notes that climate change is a global phenomenon which requires strong commitment if its disastrous implications are to be averted.
We have started to identify areas in which we can work and what are some of the messages we are now crafting and what are the effective things we can do to make Guyanese more aware. As I said, it's hinged on the survey we're doing, and the results of the survey, once finalized, will help to guide us even more along that path.
Baksh has highlighted that various media will be used to sensitize persons, starting with those living in coastal communities. Reporting for the 6 o'clock news, I'm Shardalal.
The Mahaika Maikoni Abari Agricultural Development Authority is disgusted with an article carried in yesterday's edition of the Kaitier newspaper. The body conveyed this by letter to the media entity. The article was titled US $5 million agri-investment on hold due to bad infrastructure and was based on a claim made by businessman Hemraj Kisoon. However, the body says the article is misleading, disgusting, and it is shameful that such a claim was published without even seeking a comment from the authority. It further stated that Mr. Kisoon has been in serious violation of terms and conditions of the leases, among other issues. As a result of failure to develop the lands and payment refusal, the authority has chosen to repossess the lands. The letter adds that the absurd claim publicized by Mr. Kisoon is nothing more than a red herring calculated to negatively impact on interactions with real investors for agricultural development.